Welcome to Odd Musings with, what's the name?
Scott and Brent.
You heard him.
All right.
I'm
Thanks,
D.
Steve.
Snyder.
Oh, we were talking about video games before we started here, episode 181, and Scott's phone goes off with Mario.
I know. My phone ring is the Mario.
Yes. So, welcome to episode 181 of Odd Musings. Yes, it's going to be another Mandalorian episode because in our world of Michigan here, there's not much else going on with the lockdown still.
Thank God for Star Wars.
Yeah, and it's been the best so far. Loving every episode. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about with that, but let's kick into high gear first. Let's get in some ad reads real quick. Let's knock out our great sponsors. I'm going to start us off here with Larger Family Chiropractic Center PC. That is their Facebook page right there. A couple things they have there. It's like the best time to start chiropractic care is at birth, and the best time is now. I know with Scott about to be a grandfather any week now. I mentioned to him, and I mentioned to about the baby coming in and getting adjustment, because adjusting a baby early helps kind of get it started with the building, which is their next little meme here. Natural immunities, and a child exposed to colds or viruses early in life will develop a strong immunity. Now, not everybody agrees with us on that. I personally find it to be true. The more you're exposed to stuff, the more you try to keep yourself healthy and not wipe out everything using chemicals and everything else.
And you know who else agrees with this? It's called science.
Yeah.
Where everyone tells us to follow the science, but for some reason we're rejecting it. But hey, just saying.
I know. But right there, that's
chiropractic care it's probably one of the most under credited forms of self-care you can take out there right now. It really is. It takes they deal with the problems, not just the symptoms, and it's so important.
Well, and that's where the thing with modern medicine, while it is definitely necessary in many ways for different things, a lot of them poo-poo the chiropractors say it doesn't matter. But the thing is that they do nothing to actually work the body. They just want to inject more stuff into you, give you a pill, and send you on your way. And where chiropractors working to naturally allow your body to heal itself. And I can tell you, I had a rough weekend. It's weather changes throw me off with all my hardware in my leg and everything else. And I went in yesterday, got adjusted on my weekly adjustment, and I felt better immediately. I feel much better today. I slept better last night than I had in a few days, just from the different aches and pains and everything else. And even talking with Dr. Anna, they were a little bit off from the weekend too. And before they started working on Tuesday, because they've been off for the weekend, she said, hey, they each adjusted each other and got themselves ready to go for the day. And we're feeling much better too. So there's definitely something to chiropractic care if you actually do it, and not just us people that are the naysayers. I tell people, give it an honest try and talk to the chiropractors. And you definitely want something like Loringer's, where they offer things like on-site digital x-rays, massage therapy. They offer orthotics, Young Living essential oils, which I use every day. I put on my thieves oil. That helps fight off these diseases and things like that too, by helping build your natural immune system.
And you've been doing ship shopping the entire time.
Yes.
You've been in the thick of things at the retail stores when it was at the height of everything. And
we're back there now. And the thing is also that it's definitely coming around. I know a few of the workers at one of the stores that came down with COVID a couple weeks ago. I was given an email by Shipped. I've had no symptoms. I didn't necessarily come in any physical contact with them. I just know of them. So, and then this is great. Redmond, man. That's my nephew Aiden there.
Perfect segue.
From YouTube. Yes. Because actually, Aiden, yes, we do. I actually use the hemp that your Uncle Justin makes, and we promote that here on the show. I have here, I'll bring myself up to.
I actually just received my shipment that Uncle Brett was able to pick up for me from Loringer's.
Yep, I use the drops, and then I don't have it handy right next to me here at the desk. I have the topical as well. So definitely it's Aiden. We do use that. We think it's a great product. And we highly promote it. And you can get it besides from Stony Creek Hemp, which is not a current sponsor, but we hope they'll come back to us someday, at Lawrenceur Family Chiropractic Center. They do offer it there. You can contact them and go from there. So yes, Aiden, we do use it. And we think, and you can tell your Uncle Justin, we still think it's one of the greatest products out there. And
well, in the order I just had you shipped to me, that was it wasn't just for me. There I needed for some people in the office, some people at home, friends and family. So the word spreads about how good this is. You try it. That's all we can do. We can tell you all day long, but until you actually try it, it's hard to believe how well it works.
I think the best thing with the hemp is that is using. I give his testimony for him. He was asked to try it out by Mom Connie, the Comic-Con mom. That's your Grammy, Aiden, if you're listening. And Scott was like, "All right, fine, I'll try it, whatever." And he puts it on. I'm still working at this point because we were getting ready to go to San Diego, and he's sitting there. And about 20 minutes later, he looks at her and goes, "What'd you say, Scott?"
You were right. I don't know.
You basically said, "Hey, my foot doesn't hurt anymore."
Oh yeah, because when she had me put it on, she goes, "In about 20 minutes, just think about your foot." So about 20 minutes has gone by, and so all of a sudden, I'm like, because here's the thing: when you put it on, it's not like this. It's not instant, so it's not like you put it on. It's just like, oh, you put it on. It's like, okay, I put it on, but it's this gradual decrease of pain over the course of 20 minutes. And then 20 minutes later, you stop and think, go, wow, it is gone. I don't feel it. And it's quite amazing. It really is. And we had some friends and family try it. It worked for their issues. So they're like, I need some too.
Wishing us a good morning is Kevin Minert. He tried it after he broke some toes before we went to San Diego that year. And I had him put it on to help out.
I think Brandy was trying to kill him personally, putting those clothes on the stairways at 4 a.m.
Personally, think he was going after the kids and he was about to break his foot off in their behinds, and so he just broke a couple toes. But I know Kevin put some on for his foot, and it didn't like just broke, but it helped alleviate pain and helped out with that. So, and I know Brandy her aches like that. And the thing is, and this is where Brandy I know was a little worried, and there's no THC. If you were to get drug tested, you're not going to pop for any drugs or anything like that because it's hemp. There's nothing to get you high.
And
you can't eat. Product. You can't drink enough of this stuff to get high. There's no way. Yeah. You can get 20 bottles of this. All you're going to do is just numb yourself.
And even their crops are tested to make sure there's no THC in them. So this is it is a regulated product. And it's able to, as far as, making sure nothing is in it. And it's also why it's legal to ship because there is none in there. So. Right.
So definitely check out Lawrenceur Family Chiropractic Center PC.
Also, thinking of it, I got to throw out to Kevin and Brandy. They've caused a growth in something here. Mm-hmm. That the game 5 Kings or 5 Crowns.
Oh yeah. Did you guys get it?
We got it. Now we play it. Now my mom's played it. Now she likes it, and so we've been spreading 5 Crowns around, and people are getting it for Christmas and everything.
I'll tell you, it's a fun game. Mom and I went down for Halloween, and we got a chance to play it again with it. I love playing that game. It's just a fun game. We sit around, we drink a couple beers, and we go from there. So it's just a lot of fun in that. So thanks to Kevin and Brandy for introducing that to us. They introduced that to Mom and I out in Vegas, and we've got a set here at the house. So anybody comes to the house, we can actually play some cards and stuff like that. And it's just a blast. So
it is a blast. So if you like card games, check out 5 Crowns if you haven't played it. It's a little confusing at first, but you play like one round and you got it. You got it figured out.
Yeah. It's easy to figure out.
So that's the unsolicited 5 Crowns sponsorship.
Yep. So, and then we also have as another great sponsor,
Team Titans Real Estate. Why? Because you matter. That's right. Jill and I, we take good care of you. We utilize all the latest tools and technologies to assist in your home buying or selling experience. But at the core, it's always a people's business, and it's the relationships that matter, and we never forget that. We really take the time to get to know you, what your goals are, and really try to tailor the experience to fit your needs, because different people have different goals, different needs, and different time frames that they're working on. So if you're thinking about buying or selling a house anytime, whether it's now or 6 months from now, it doesn't hurt to give us a call now just to get the ball rolling. We can talk about what your goals are. We can talk about how to maximize your, if you're on the sell side, how to maximize your sales price, what things you can do now to sell later. If you're on the buy side, what things can you do to improve your credit? Maybe you're not quite qualifying for the level of house you want to get. We can help you there too. So give us a call, 586-549-6096.
Excellent. Yeah, this is the game right here, 5 Crowns. And as Kevin Miner endorses it, that game is a blast.
There you go.
So Ultra Board Games, you can get it at Amazon. I got mine from Target. You definitely order it online and highly recommend it. So it should be cool. So I have a lot of fun with that. So we mentioned before on the show, how we talk about digital stuff once in a while and how things disappear off of digital streaming and you can buy something digitally and it could disappear. Did you see where Dave Chappelle asked Netflix to take off the Chappelle Show?
Really?
Yes. And part of it is, and I don't necessarily agree with it. Netflix has a deal with him. So this is why they did this. So all his specials, everything they're paying him for and things like that. Well, with them showing the Chappelle Show, he doesn't get paid. And so he contacted him and said, I don't get paid for that.
I would assume he got paid via the contract that he signed.
Well, that's where I don't agree with it. I mean, they could have said no, but they have a contract with us. So I think they did it out of courtesy. I'm sure he's asking nobody to stream it for free or watch it or anything because I don't know. Because he's kind of weird on that. But
for these streaming things, they're paying for the rights for a set period of time. So while he's not getting paid for an individual viewing, he got paid a lump sum. Or whatever.
Well, his contract rights were whatever it was, and he doesn't get paid on residuals on it anymore. And I think part of that comes with when he ended the show after the second season, didn't sign the contract that would have been $50 million. That was a big contract at the time. But the reason I bring it up though isn't so much just that I'm not bashing him. He's got his own reasons for it. But I shared it on Facebook, and it was yet another reason why if you like something, you like a movie, you should buy the physical media. I've got a couple movies I bought here yesterday because I wanted the physical copies of them. And even though they come with the digital, I can load the digitals up. I still have the physical if that ever just.
That's even all you people who, and I'm guilty of this too. I used to be very diligent on this, and I've gotten a little lazy in the last few years. Are your personal photos? You upload them to social media, and then you don't make printed copies. Well, guess what? Technically, that social media can delete your account. They can do a dump. And if you don't have physical copies of your photos, you may not ever get them if they delete you. And,
it's even with Google Photos. So I've been using for backup for a couple of years. They send a notification next year. Every photo you upload, you're only going to be able to fit it within your allotted space you have, or you can pay an extra couple bucks a month to get more space.
Which is not how they sold it originally.
Right. No, it was supposed to be you just upload at a certain level. If you wanted to pay for a higher quality, you could. I always did the regular quality. I didn't care. It looked fine. There's nothing different on that. So now today I went on and it said it could take a couple days for it to put into zip files. I'm still uploading to it, but I've requested zip files of my photos so that way I can just download that and put it onto I have a backup drive here at the house. So
same here. I plan on doing that as well. While we're on the topic of social media, we should talk really quick what's coming out today.
And what is coming out today?
You're the one that told me.
See, now you asked me to remember crap I told you yesterday. Come on, man. You should know better than that. I tell you like a million things. So
it's Kurt Russell.
Oh yeah. It's on Netflix. We've got the Santa Claus Chronicles or the
Christmas Chronicles.
Christmas Chronicles 2 is out on Netflix today. Now November 25th, which is 1 month till Christmas. So it's perfect.
And guess what?
Yep.
There is another way to view it.
Is there?
Yes. Let me share the screen here.
They're going to show it at the drive-in.
At the Ford drive-in, which is over in Dearborn, which isn't that far for you, right? Isn't that kind of close to you?
About 25 minutes or so. Yeah, it's just straight down 94.
So they're even playing it there. I saw it by by accident.
Okay. I think I lost Scott. He must have signed out. So Scott, sign back in. Hey, so he was at the Ford Drive-In. I didn't know this, guys. I didn't know it was going to be at the Ford Drive-In. Let me pull it up on mine and see what's going on here. And so, there's Scott.
Now my camera's not working. Can you hear me?
Well, you bopped out the entire thing. I lost everything. So it's like you lost your whole connection.
No, well, yeah, let's call it that.
Okay.
I tried to stop the screen and I tried to stop my screen and I didn't mean to stop sharing the screen, but I hit stop the whole thing. So here, I'm going to leave the studio real quick to reconnect my camera.
All right, I'll talk for a little bit here. I'll talk about some of the stuff that's going on here. Yeah, we actually have here. I'm going to share my screen here again. We have a drive-in here in Michigan. I haven't been to it in many. It's called the Ford Drive-In. And right now, and they're on Ford Road in Dearborn. It's the last drive-in really in Southeast Michigan. That's an official original drive-in. But we've got a couple other things here. So there's Scott.
There I am.
And I was showing the page here. It's like right now they're doing some double features today. You can go see the new Croods movie is out, along with the Jim Carrey How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Do they have Christmas Chronicles listed?
I haven't got to that part yet.
It's supposed to be. Let's see. Let me Google it again.
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah, and it's funny. Here's the times. This is a great time. Look at this. You can either see True to the Game at 8:00, and then 9:50 is always works. But they're going late, like 1:30. They're still showing the 1:00 in the morning ones, which is cool. Then they have the new Freaky, and then Let 'Em Go with Kevin Costner. The 78 Dawn of the Dead and George Romero's Land of the Dead. That's a great double feature. That's just today. That's today's stuff. So probably Friday will be the change.
Well, but if I do a Google search for Christmas Chronicles, it came up as today at 8 p.m. at the Ford Drive-In.
Really?
So interesting. I don't know.
Not seeing it on their official page here. I
got it shared on my screen here that you can see.
Yeah. Okay, let's bring you up.
There it says Ford Drive-In, 8 p.m.
Huh.
So I don't know.
Interesting.
It's a conundrum wrapped in an enigma.
Yeah.
Or the other way around.
Well, and it's funny because it says it on the Google, but nothing on their actual site here.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting.
Anyways, well, go at your own risk. 8 p.m. show up. Who knows? That'd be cool if it is playing. But anyways, I really enjoyed the first one. I thought it was a fun addition to all the different Christmas movies out there. There's another Christmas movie that's out now that I really want to see. And it is, let's make sure I am calling it the right name. Isn't it called Fat Man, I believe it is. With
Oh, yeah. I saw something
Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
It is out now. I've seen some people say this is like a horror Christmas movie where Santa is like, this is like a Christmas movie made by Quentin Tarantino kind of thing. It's not Quentin Tarantino, but let's see, who is it? Isham Nelms and Iam Nelms are the directors.
Okay, and you can buy it. I didn't realize it. It's on Prime Video. You can get it for $14.99 on Prime Video, or you can buy the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray's out already.
Yeah, everybody. This was supposed to come out to the theaters, but obviously isn't. So they just went to direct release. It looks like. But so far, I've seen about 3 or 4 people this morning post that they just watched it and they all loved it. This is their new Christmas movie. So if you want something dark where Santa's sick of taking crap, here
we go. Movie. Okay, so the Blu-ray is a pre-order. It's not released yet. It doesn't have a date. They just have it listed for $16.59. But then for Prime Video, so you can do it digitally that way, or whatever, you can rent it for $6.99 or buy it for $14.99 digitally.
I may go ahead and rent it, and then when it comes out, buy it. I like supporting Mel Gibson's work, and this actually looks good. I like how this one looks.
Yeah, that'd be something to watch, and watch for different deals on. Sometimes they do like special rental deals and things like that on different sites. So you're ready to do it. Check a couple of your different streaming sites, see who's got the better pricing to rent it.
That's
you might
right.
get lucky on something like that. So
Yeah. So yeah, now that Thanksgiving is about to be here, that's tomorrow.
yep.
For those of you who don't like Christmas pre-Thanksgiving, your official launch of Christmas will be Friday, and so you guys start thinking about your Christmas movies. Which Charlie Brown will be back on the air. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, they aired the Thanksgiving one on Sunday night. This past Sunday night. The Christmas one will be in a week or two.
So
But they're airing them on Sunday nights at on PBS.
yeah, so evidently Apple TV bought the rights, and they had such negative blowback from taking it off the airwaves and making you subscribe to them that they felt it was better to just allow PBS to play it.
And you can download the app, sign in with your Apple credentials if you have them, and watch it for free without paying for their service. I believe today and tomorrow only.
Okay.
So you can stream it that way. I own them digitally. I own them physically.
So you are not held captive by the man.
No, I'm not held by, and I have the Apple TV. I can watch on my main TV in the living room because I got it free for a year when I bought my iPad. And I've watched some things I like. Actually, I like their streaming for some of the stuff they offer, and it's not expensive, like $7 a month. But I don't like the fact that they took these classics that have been on TV for over 50 years and are forcing you to have their service to be able to watch them if you don't physically own them at this time.
Well, that's like the Christmas Story movie for me. I love, typically is it TBS, I think, that plays it like for 24 hours straight. I usually put that on in the morning, and it's on all day. That I love having that playing. But I don't own a physical copy. I'm going to have to go out and get a physical copy because something like this could happen where they could just say, "Hey, we're pulling it."
Yeah,
it's like,
I own it. It is available on Blu-ray. And in fact, I think my Blu-ray, I have to check out. My Blu-ray may have came with a digital version of it. I put up on my site, but I have the physical copy of it. Just the fact that there's times I would rather watch it not on TV with the commercials. I just want to watch it straight through.
Right.
It's a fun movie, and I enjoy that one. I've met Flick, who is Scotty Schwartz before a couple times, and so it's always fun to say, "Hey, I know who that kid is."
And if you don't know who that is, he's the kid who sticks the tongue on the pole.
Yeah.
After the triple dog dare, or what was it? I think it was.
I triple dog dare you.
The narration on that movie is so perfect.
Yeah, and they've had a couple other sequels from the guy that wrote it. In fact, the guy that narrates it is the original writer of the story. That it actually is him, and they did one like a summer one with different actors, down the road, and they've done a couple of seasons, but nothing has captured just the great spirit of the Christmas Story and in terms of the narration, the way it works, and stuff like that. So it's just a fantastic movie all the way around, and that's a lot of fun on that. But yeah, there's definitely Christmas Chronicles 2. I'm looking forward to watching that. I've watched the first one a few times. I watched it 2 years ago when it came out. I watched it again last year a couple times. I really enjoyed that, so I'm excited to see this new one.
And this one, I think we're going to get Goldie Hawn in it quite a bit.
Oh yeah, she was in the trailer, so she's co-starring heavily through it.
She's Mrs. Claus. We got to see her as kind of a little surprise cameo at the end of, because we haven't seen her in a long time doing anything.
She doesn't do much. She does a little bit here and there, but she just turned 75.
Yeah.
So I think she's not retired, but she just doesn't do a whole lot. But also in the last trailer they had for the Christmas Chronicles, the bad guy is the kid from Deadpool 2 that goes bad with the power. So he's kind of the bad character in this one. I think it's really cool because I think he was hilarious in Deadpool 2. Which, speaking, is another segue. Deadpool 3 was greenlit by Disney, and it will be rated R. They're going to continue on with the same storyline. So it's got an official greenlit to start filming now. And so it looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. So
I'm curious how they handle that, because Deadpool in the Deadpool 2 at the end, he has that time travel device he utilizes. Mm-hmm. They could utilize that element to have him slipstream into the current Marvel universe, and they could explain how the other universe, how he got into the new one. So they could do something like that, because Ant-Man was in that time travel quantum physics realm too. So they could do something to pull him into there, because I'm guessing if they're going to allow the movie, he'll be part of the new universe.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what they're going to do. I wouldn't be surprised if they're not going to use it to continue to retcon all the Fox X-Men stuff, and then next thing you know, it'll allow them to set up going forward within the MCU, since the MCU is no longer going to be truly in phases like they were doing. So wasn't
there a storyline in the comics where it was like Deadpool kills the Marvel universe?
That sounds very familiar.
I think there was something like that, and they could kind of have Deadpool be the reason for his universe to actually die.
Yeah.
And then he gets over to the Marvel universe and exists in that plane.
Yep. So yeah, actually there is there was a book came out November 14, 2012. It was the illustrated paperback, so the collection, and it was called Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe.
Yep.
It collected the 4 issues of Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. So it was a miniseries from 8 years ago. Yep, I haven't read it, but I remember hearing about that. But yeah, so definitely that's something. And you can get it for $11.99 at Amazon. We should get a link together again for them and just forward everything.
And Deadpool, that's another great segue because we have a common actress with Deadpool and Mandalorian. Gina Carano, I don't know how to say her last name. Who is she's in the first one. What is she? More angry Rosie O'Donnell, as Deadpool called her.
Yeah, I could see that. So, I had Polar because I forgot. It's been so long since I've watched that first Deadpool and that, but I love Gina Carano. I'm really liking her a lot in The Mandalorian.
Yep.
I think she's an excellent actress on this, and definitely want to see her more in this. Heck, I wouldn't mind seeing them do a spinoff with her and have something different. She's already turned down, as we're going to talk about. So here's some spoilers, guys. We're going to start hitting the spoilers on the new Mandalorian. She turns down the Republic at the end to kind of join up with him, but he left that little. It looks like a challenge coin.
Yeah. Well, I think it was like I believe somebody said it was like a badge.
Yeah.
Like because he's like the police officer, like he's acting as a police officer capacity. So I think that was like a badge where she'd be like deputized if she took it or something. Yeah. But we're not sure. They didn't explain it.
No. So I'm thinking they made a point to make sure you saw it. And so I have a feeling that may come into play later. And of course, we got to see again one of the same X-Wing pilots we saw from the previous episode, as they're kind of tracking the Mandalorian a little bit. But let's go back to the beginning of the episode. We've got Mando and Baby Yoda, and they are trying to get the ship to. I probably just jump in it looks like hyperspace probably. And of course, what do? You got a little tiny box, so you send a little tiny kid in, and
that was great.
And you have to teach him his colors, red and blue. And you got to swatch them, and he goes, "Don't put them together." So what's Baby Yoda do?
Yep.
And that, but so they decide to go see some friends, and that's what we get a chance to see Gina Carano's character, as well as Carl Weathers, for this.
Who actually directed this episode?
Yeah, he did, and it's funny. It was funny how fast the slip up showed up. One of the crew members was caught, and I watched it again this morning. And I was watching, and it goes by so fast. So I'm like, whoever caught that initially and posted it the first time had been literally going frame by frame on this episode, looking at every single frame, trying to find something.
Well, and that's what Star Wars, especially 501st, does, because we're looking at every detail. Like, we're trying to make costumes and everything accurate. And so for those who don't know, here we go. I'm going to share this. It literally is just for a half of a second. It's like 2 frames or something. It's
super fast.
So if you don't see it there, you look in this corner here, and in the far left corner of this image here, and you see a guy standing there in very non-Star Wars clothes, t-shirt, some kind of watch, and jeans.
Yep.
So I love this. Will Star Wars make Mandalorian jeans guy canon? The answer is they won't make him canon, but the fans will utilize him so much that in about 10 years from now, Filoni will probably do some kind of cameo of this guy, and then he'll become canon then.
Yeah, it's a shame we don't have any conventions coming up. I guarantee we see a half a dozen people walking around with a fake wall and just covering half their body, and all you see is them in a t-shirt.
Oh yeah,
I actually wearing a watch.
I actually belong in a private 501st group about the blue jeans guy, and people are already breaking down like what brand shirt is it, what brand jeans, what color is it, what is the model number of the watch, so that they can portray him accurately.
Yes.
So yeah, so and people are taking their pictures and posting it in the group, showing like their cutout wall blocking half of them and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite interesting.
Yeah, I find that it was just hilarious how many, and I shared on Facebook. I tagged Scott in it, and it's somebody made up a fake action figure, and
Mhm.
and here let me I'll share it real quick. Oh, wrong one. Pop over here. I thought it was hilarious. That, I mean, I knew that someone would do it right away. So, oh come on, yeah, we dropped that out. Come on, stream here. You can, man. There we go. Gotta bring up my Facebook. There it is. So there's the guy. So you see him over on the side there. There's the guy. This is actually a really clear picture of him there.
Yeah.
Some of the guys they had to have been able to go frame by frame. And then I love the retro look jeans guy. And obviously it's just the wall. And then of course they made the shirt green, and that looks a little gray to me there, but they usually do change some things up on that. And then down here, a couple people shared some stuff. I love this. This was shared by a good friend of the show, Janice. And there is the jeans guy Lego. 327 piece Lego set.
Yep. They got it nailed. They got it perfect right there.
Yeah. So, and that was great on that. But yeah, the whole premise of it, of course, the ship has been, he had it kind of fixed, and he's definitely still having issues. So he goes to see his friends over on, what's the name of that planet again?
Let's see here. Navarro or something.
Navarro,
like that.
yes. Navarro, yeah. And so that's where we run. And it's funny when they land. They hadn't seen each other in a little while, but not a ton of time. But definitely everything in that town has changed because Grief and Kara's they've fixed up the town. She's the marshal. In fact, it opened up with her doing a whole marshal sequence. It looked like it was in the forge. Where the
old armorer, the female armorer who kind of like their cult, their queen leader or whatever you want to call it, for that Mando sect that we learned a little bit about last week.
Yep, and definitely hoping that we get to explore that some more too. And
I'm also seeing some speculation on, is the armorer going to end up being a bad guy? Because she kind of has this cult leadership position within the larger Mandalorians. They're kind of like this cult sect, and will this bring up maybe we'll get some kind of cool Mando civil war down the road or something between the different groups.
And I could see that. I could see that they're trying to rebuild Mandalorian. We've already been introduced to, the one group that we knew from the animated series. We know they're still kind of around. We don't know the numbers. We know, and then we know that within the group that Jin was with, the Mandalorian and the armor, there was several, and they all, up until the point where they all threw their armor away, they followed the code of, never revealing themselves. So they've taken off on that. But the premise of this one though is with him going back there, his ship's going to getting fixed, and he's going to help them out. And of course, he takes Baby Yoda. They take him to a school to hang out.
I got a photo on there if you want to share it from the Star Wars site. So there
he is sitting there, and it's funny. The kid next to him is eating macaroon cookies, and they're blue. Because everything in Star Wars has to be blue. Blue milk, blue cookies. Yeah. And I love the fact that Baby Yoda uses the Force to steal the cookies.
Yep.
And kind of, I alluded to the fact that the more we see him, the way he acts, he's kind of leaning towards the dark side because the dark side does have cookies.
And he has the cookies now.
Yep. So
now, and Brett and I talked off screen about this, and I called him right away to talk about it, and he noticed it too. I think we heard Baby Yoda's first word in this sequence.
Yes, and I heard it again watching in this morning, and it's like Batu.
Yeah, so the kid kind of looks at him like, "Hey, what the heck? You took my cookies," and he's like, "Batu." So don't know what that word means, but I think
it's a tease for mine.
Yeah. And then you also said you think you noticed in other episodes where he made some sounds that didn't sound like the normal baby sound. So I think they're leading up to him actually talking. I think we're going to get. I have a feeling like the end of the season we'll get his first word officially. Like maybe he'll call the Mandalorian dad or something. Who knows what? But
Well, and the thing is too is that I noticed the way they angled the camera was you got the Mandalorian and the baby were eating, and man was lifting his helmet just enough to sit, but baby was kind of looking right up into that helmet there.
yeah,
So
he's trying to get a peek.
yep.
Yep.
So so it's very interesting the dynamics they've got going on between those two and the way the baby is. They're trying. I think they're subtly trying to show the baby growing up a little bit and aging, not fast, but just enough to get it going there.
Yeah.
But with him in the school protected, and actually the school was taught by a
Protocol
droid very similar to 3PO.
Yep.
So it's protocol droid and a female voice. So it's teaching the kids, and I noticed the way the kids were dressed. A couple had the 3 bumps the girls did, the Wraith look and stuff like that. So definitely they get a lot of nods within the kids to different characters within the Star Wars universe. And not saying they are those characters. I think it's more nods. And then of course we learn that Moff Gideon is alive, which we kind of knew.
We knew. Well, it was revealed to us, the viewer, at the very last scene where he cuts himself out with the Darksaber. But in the world of Star Wars, the heroes thought he died.
Yeah. And what we found out was when they go to this base that's still on the planet, they want to destroy it. Grief does and Kara, and that way it'll end the Imperials on there and they can continue to have peace there on the planet. And so they get there, and of course we have a revisit from another character from the very first episode, Horatio Sands' character. He's in the Mythrol is his name. He's an accountant. And he's serving a 350-year sentence to pay back his debt to Grief. And so he takes him in there, his speeder. And so we got that, which is pretty cool. So we get to this place. Of course, they have to break in. Mandal, of course, now he's got the jetpack. He can do whatever he wants. He jumps up there, knocks off one of the troopers, sends the elevator down to him. They come up, and then we get through this sequence of them fighting. And then they realize when they get to one room, when they kill a couple of the guards, that there's some cloning going on because you can see the cloning chambers. And they also see a video call from one of the scientists that we've seen in the first season that had the baby, and they of course extracted blood from there, and mentions Moff Gideon, and he goes, "Oh, that's got to be an old transmission. Moff Gideon's dead." And my thought was like, "No, this is like 3 days old." So that's when Mandalorian takes off and leaves. So we have to follow Grief and Kara and Mythrol through them getting out of this place before it blows up, and of course having to fight stormtroopers along the way.
But that scene in particular is very key to the larger saga as a whole, because we learn that this is not a military base but a lab, and some of those workers there that got shot down, they were trying to clear the database out. They were wearing the cloning insignia on their outfits, and we then see those bodies being cloned, and there's some key details given, and it's very fast, but you got to listen to the recorded message. What we learn is that those figures in there being cloned, they're actually volunteers. They're people who volunteered themselves for this. And they're not surviving. They're burning through. Now, when you look at the Rise of Skywalker, you have we find out the Emperor is alive, and he's been using cloned bodies to sustain himself, but those clone bodies don't survive. The amount of force powers he's using to keep himself alive is just burning through these bodies.
Yeah. And
in this recorded message, the scientist is saying how they need more of the blood with the M in it, for midi-chlorians. And they could only get a limited supply from the baby. So they're going to need more. So we know Snoke is a clone. We saw that in the Emperor's cloning facilities. We know there's volunteers. We know from Rise of Skywalker, there's this whole fanatical wing of followers of the Sith who are probably the ones volunteering themselves for the Emperor. So there's a number of things here in this brief moment that I think they're going to tie into a much larger storyline of the First Order and the Emperor and everything else.
I think it ties into that, and then also a couple other things like this. I mentioned the M, which is right away Star Wars fans know, midichlorians. We also had another. I'm going to bring up her picture real quick here. At the end, when she talks to Moff Gideon here, this is the actress here. Oh, wrong one. Where's she at? And I lost her for a second.
Oh, the officer.
Yeah, comms officer. This is Katie O'Brien. Now, I recognized her, and I was like, I knew her from somewhere. I knew her from Z Nation.
Oh,
and she's
that's
been in a bunch of other stuff. Yeah,
okay. When I saw her, I was like, how do I know her?
Yeah,
Okay,
she's also been in
Z-Nation.
Black Lightning, Z Nation. She played George. She's popped in a couple other stuff, so she's kind of an up and coming actress. This is her right there, but she gives the talks to Moff Gideon at the end, and but also no, it also talks to their inside person on the planet, and what we find out is one of the workers for Grief is actually working with the Imperials and planted a tracker on the Razor Crest. And what she says to this person, I don't know if I'm sure you caught this, Scott. Basically says, basically in the next incarnation, you will be rewarded. So it's, I forget exact words. Basically, she alludes to the First Order with everything that's going on, the next grouping. And so at least I believe they're alluding to the First Order, since we've seen the cloning going on, and this would tie into a little bit of the First Order stuff as well. So
now what's interesting is for being an officer in the show, share the screen I got there. She's heavy into fitness. She's a fitness model as well as she competed. She's martial arts. So I don't think you would hire someone like this for a typical officer role unless it's going to be grown into a much more action-packed role than what you typically get from a Imperial officer. So I'm really curious to see how she develops as a character. Did they give the name of the character?
Yeah, it's she is playing. Let me go back here a minute.
And she's also a stunt woman, which means I think they're going to really utilize her for some heavy action sequences.
You know what? No, they didn't give her actual names yet. She's just a comms officer. But the way they dealt with her character in that 1 minute sequence, I agree. I think she's someone we're going to see again, just like we saw with Paul Sun Hyung Lee as Captain Carson with the X-wing. He's someone popping up. I can see her popping up in a bigger role down the road here.
I'm wondering, is it possible she could be Dr. Aphra? I'm trying to see if Dr. Aphra was I don't know the background of Dr. Aphra enough, but there's been speculation they would bring Dr. Aphra into the storyline. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Dr. Aphra was ever an Imperial officer, though, so I don't know. Well, but it'd be interesting if she kind of has a look. I
can see that, and I wonder if she'll have time with the character that Dr. Pershing. That's when we saw, given the hologram thing. He's played by Omid Abtahi, and we saw him in 2 episodes in the first season, and now again. But that could be something that ties in there to him. Now he does a lot of voiceover work and things like that, but definitely a good actor as well. But yeah, so what we've got going on here is they end up destroying the base. They end up stealing a vehicle. I forget what they called it. And this is one of the coolest sequences we've seen. 2 things happen. Oh man, sorry, I had to stop. So one of my pages started all of a sudden just blaring music.
Didn't hear it on this end.
When they can't get out of the base, they're up level. You can't really see it as an elevator, but they got this giant, basically vehicle up there, and there's really no way they could have gone through the corridor, but. It's like, why is it there? But then you do see, I think it's just a parts area. They just loaded them out there because in the background you see like parts of the TIE fighters, the wings, stuff like that. So it definitely was just a parts area right there they were using, but it's a working vehicle that can definitely do some damage, and it's got some weaponry on it, and it can transport. Basically it's a heavy transport for ground, and so they steal it and take out the troopers, and they throw themselves off the edge of the cliff, which is pretty cool. But the best sequence was because when we saw initially them going into the base, they go right through speeders that are just sitting there docked. And what do we get? We get a bunch of the speeder troopers come out, grab the speeders, and dive over the cliff. And of course, in typical Star Wars fashion, 2 of them have to crash and hit the rocks right away. Yes. And so it takes out half the group that comes after them.
It was really cool, though, seeing the speeder bikes utilized in that way. We see them going horizontal all the time. Here, it was almost like dirt bikes going down a steep hill, in how they were going down and riding the mountain down. And I thought that was really cool to see.
Yeah, and I like the one that looks back when the 2 crash, and you kind of get to look back like morons, And and so they have a nice little battle there. They take out those guys, and then of course we see the TIEs with their wings folded take off. We'd seen them earlier in the episode.
I really like that design that they're using, where the wings fold so it can land on the ground.
Yeah.
I guess that was an early design. They came up with that for one of the movies, I believe, but they never used it. So they took the old design and moved it into here. But Star Wars. The cool thing about Star Wars ships is they always have things that move, even if they don't need to move. Everything moves, but it's cool, and it's nice to incorporate that into TIE fighters because it's a much more. The way otherwise you need this really long ladder to get off the TIE fighter because it's so tall.
Right, and that makes more sense for them to land somewhere and do more than just fly through space. So I like that. But we can see a little TIE battle. They're coming after the ship after they take care of the speeder bikes, and then of course the Mandalorian's got into his ship. He's got the child and takes out the TIE fighters, and we see him do a maneuver I was reading online that we saw Anakin do in Episode 1. So when he was fighting out in space with the Naboo.
Is that when he said, "I know spinning works"?
Yeah. That's okay. He does that thing that comes out and then the way he turns back around, stuff like that. So it's
I
pretty
felt
cool.
like that was also in Top Gun. I don't
Probably.
know.
Well, I always felt that when I saw Episode 1, I was like, oh, they're doing a little Top Gun bit. But Top Gun was he hits his brakes basically and he's flying like this. He goes and then comes back behind him and then drops. Yeah. So that's been used a couple times.
And then we see Baby Yoda have a little throw up from too many macarons.
Oh no! Prior to that was the best part.
Activity.
Yeah, prior to that's the best part though, because every time he's taking a tie, Baby Yoda's like, "Yay!"
Yeah. Which kind of was reminiscent to me of young Boba Fett in the Slave One with his father Jango Fett, where he's like, "Get him!"
Yeah.
They try to kill Obi-Wan.
Yeah. But it was Baby Yoda's like, yeah, kill the TIE pilot, yay! But he's eating so many of those cookies, he ends up spitting up, and I love how he says, they asked him to come back down, and he's like, no, we better get going, and I've got I forget how you put it, basically he's got a mess he's got to take care of in the cockpit first, and
I have some onboard maintenance or something.
Yeah. So and he's taking off, and this next episode though. It's gonna be 45 minutes this week, and we're told it's called The Jedi. So we're thinking this is where we're gonna see Ahsoka. But Scott, you had kind of your own little theory you're talking about last night that they might go. I mean,
this isn't my theory. I don't think this is going to happen, but I could see it happening. So with Katie Sackhoff, they hired her to be the live action version of the very character she plays in the animated series. And for Ahsoka Tano, Ashley Eckstein is the voice, and she's also an actress. So she's not just a voice actress. So the fans have long wanted to see Ashley Eckstein as the actual live action version as well. And I think she would pull it off really well. With that said, Rosario Dawson, I think, is going to be playing Ahsoka Tano. But the theory was, what if it's like a bait and switch? Rosario Dawson is in it, but playing a different role. Like Sasha Banks, everyone thought was Sabine Wren, right? And turns out she wasn't. So we still haven't seen her. So just throwing it out there as a theory that's floating out there. Me personally, I don't think it is, but I could see it happening.
I mean, they could. I mean, we all thought Sabine was going to be in it from the clip we saw. She wasn't.
I really feel like the package art that's been revealed for the lightsabers, though, for Ahsoka Tano, I feel like it looks like Rosario Dawson in character.
Yeah, I have to say that's the way I believe it is, and I think she fits for the age that Ahsoka would be. Ashley's not necessarily super young either. Ashley's like 39 years old, so
she looks young.
Yeah,
Ashley Eckstein has. I mean, she's petite too, but I think so. I think it adds overall to her. She seems younger, but I personally, I would love to see Ashley Eckstein in the role. And keep the voice and going forward. But here's what I'm excited about. We're probably getting Ahsoka Tano in the next episode. I know Filoni will do it right. He's directing the episode. He's also the creator of Ahsoka, probably the single most successful non-movie character ever created, I think, for Star Wars.
Yes.
And people just love her story arc and who she is. Filoni knows this character inside and out, so he'll do justice no matter who was cast in the role.
Yeah.
So
that's Ashley right there with an Ahsoka doll.
Yep. And she's a big. Here's the other thing about Ashley Eckstein. She's a huge a great ambassador for the brand Star Wars.
Yes.
She has her universe line of clothing with Star Wars. She's always at San Diego Comic-Con and these other things. She interacts with the fans amazingly. I've had multiple conversations with her over the years, and she's just such a sweetheart. You couldn't ask for a nicer person. So I really hope she is Ahsoka, but if she's not, I'm fine with it. Rosario Dawson's an amazing actress, and I know she'll do a great job with the role.
Yeah, and I think in a lot of ways Rosario was picked a little bit of age and look to fit into the character.
Self-promoted. She pushed for it herself.
Yeah.
It actually started from a fan art somebody did. I personally wish they used my fan art. I used Mila Kunis as Ahsoka, and I thought mine actually looks better. Just saying. but somebody did fan art of Rosario Dawson, and she shared it, and she started. That's when she really threw her hat in the ring, saying that she would love the opportunity, and it kind of snowballed from there. Yeah. So, but what I'm hoping for is, since we are getting Ahsoka next episode, we are probably also, I think we're going to get Sabine Wren also, since we got the Mandalorian storyline. And then hopefully we get the rest of the Ghost crew as well, and maybe even see the Ghost.
That'd be great. I would like to see Hera. It would be nice to see. We need to find out. I'm hoping that they don't necessarily have to reveal Ezra where he is, what happened, but maybe allude to it. And then that, they've talked about doing a spin-off series with Ahsoka. I'd like to see, that whole journey, because they set it up perfectly into Rebels, that in the Return of Jedi, we see Sabine and Ahsoka going to find Ezra. And so they have a huge story.
And that storyline, because that storyline ties into the next most popular, probably the most popular villain created off movie screen is Thrawn.
Yep. And
we have not seen a live action version of him. And where the series left off Rebels is Ezra and Thrawn get hyperspaced out into the nether regions of the universe, never to be seen again. So maybe they come back, and Thrawn could end up being a pivotal role in bringing the First Order about. So it'll be interesting to see if they bring all those different characters.
Yeah, because his Thrawn's character has changed a lot from his original introduction and some of the early novelizations in the 90s, to where when they brought him into the new canon, which is now through Rebels and Clone Wars and that, it changed where he came in at, because he came in after Jedi originally in the previous expanded universe. And
actually, right about now in the storyline is when he would have came in the old Legends.
Right. So he could still be around. They could still incorporate some of that in. And that, but definitely there's a lot they could do with him. I'd like to see more of him. They've got a lot of new books out. It seems like there's a new book almost every year coming out. I believe Kevin Anderson is writing the books. I was trying to find them here. So here we go. Thrawn Trilogy, and then they have a Ascendancy Trilogy is a new one. So they've got Timothy Zahn's actually writing those. I was thinking wrong. Kevin Anderson.
And Timothy Zahn was the one who invented Thrawn originally and did the original book. So he also knows while the stories have changed to fit the new canon, he's keeping the truth of the character, the core essence of who he is intact, which is really nice. And
I brought up the wiki.
I found
go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I was just saying, I found the concept art for this episode too. So, but go ahead with wiki if you want.
Your last thing on Thrawn real quick was the Thrawn trilogy. I haven't read those yet, but they are set prior to A New Hope, so it's tying him in there. And then the new trilogy, the Ascendancy trilogy, which is launched. The first book came out this year already. It's been delayed, but it's finally out now. There's gonna be 3 of those. It's something he was born as. I have no idea. Kivu Ra Nuru. Is a core name Vuron, and before he adopted, and then going from this, they kind of give more of the backstory of who he is as they continue to increase his storyline a little more. So, but the concept work, gorgeous artwork again that they've got for these episodes.
Yeah, here you see Baby Yoda with his macaroons. Obviously, before they decided, like, oh wait, we have to have blue cookies.
Yeah, there's a
Here we
great
see this.
of course, the concept art here with the vehicle is a little different. We did see them take on the speeders, but then the TIE pilots came afterwards. But actually, it's kind of cool if they had them all at once. It would have been fun too. So,
Yep. At the original, here we see Gina Carano's character here. They do such a great job capturing the feel of everything. The classroom setting, they didn't have a protocol droid yet in this concept.
yeah, and that was a bar before, wasn't it? They converted that.
That's the room. This is the room where the final standoff was, where they there
that's
were
right,
so many
yes.
stormtroopers and they shot through the wall.
Yep.
And yeah, so this was actually the final battle there. Here we see where that Katie O'Brien's character is in in the Imperial command here. I love how this looks too. This is the kind of painting I wish I could do. I just love how this stuff looks. This is just makes my heart happy. So, and there you go. So there's some of those concept art. Just beautiful work as always.
Yep. They do such a great job on that. I love that we get to see all this artwork that would normally not get shared for productions. They don't share a lot of this stuff, but they're making a point to make it good to be able to share. And that's something I really enjoy about this whole series and everything.
I do wonder with how things have gone, like even with the Marvel movies, they've put a little bit more spotlight on their concept artists, and they're doing it here as well. Like the future at Comic-Cons, could we have the concept artists of these major shows making appearances and selling maybe posters of their concept art or whatever, licensed concept posters or something? Because I would love to meet, this is who I would love to meet, is these guys, like the Marvel concept artists, the Star Wars concept artists. It would be just amazing to meet these people and have them present at shows.
Yeah, I like to actually in San Diego last year. I was walking around with Steph Forney, and we ran into a guy that did some of the. And I've got it print somewhere. It's not on the wall, but he did drawings of dinosaurs for the Lost World, and he's done some other stuff. And this is someone that was just kind of there, and some people were talking to him, but nobody was bothering him. And they're like, "Who's this guy? We don't know him." I found it fascinating. Steph found it fascinating. So we both sat there probably a good 25 minutes or more talking with this guy and listening to talk about this and seeing the work he did and him explain his ideas behind his drawings. And that was fantastic about that. And that's what I loved about it. So,
yeah. And concept art is its own skill set. Just because you're great at drawing art or creating art, it doesn't mean you're a good concept artist. It's got its own set of skills that, because like for me, I'm better when something exists and then I can create images based upon the designs of those people. But you're not. It takes a lot of creativity to create something from nothing, and that's what these concept artists.
Yep, and we've got coming out next week is the complete season 1 art book, Art of the Mandalorian, comes out December 1st. Nice. I just shared that up on Amazon there. It'll be released next Tuesday. Believe it, next Tuesday is already December. So if you got that Star Wars fan, or you want to, treat your favorite hosts of Odd Musings to each a book, and please buy it from Amazon and send it to us. But it's got all the concept art, character and costume sketches, vehicle and creature designs. It looks really just fantastic, and excited to check this book out myself eventually, and see all the cool stuff they got in there and how they came up with stuff. And so it's definitely gonna be a really, really cool little thing.
Definitely, I'll have to look into that.
I've had people ask
me what I'm gonna want for Christmas, so I can tell them that.
There you go. But we got Thanksgiving coming up tomorrow. I'll be deep frying a turkey. Yeah. And a bunch of sides and everything else. And Scott, I'm sure you're going to be spending it with your family. And
you can share the image I posted there.
Yeah.
So I've been seeing this a lot. So even the turkeys are going to wear masks.
Yep. We can all do the Mandalorian and just.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's always fun talking Mandalorian on all this stuff. We got a few more weeks of Mandalorian left to talk about. But some other stuff. I'll be down the road here. I just started reading the new Ready Player 2. Came out yesterday. So I'm about a quarter of the way through that. Really enjoying that right now. So I'll definitely give a review of that down the road. as well as I'm sure we'll give a nice review of the Christmas Chronicles 2 in a few weeks here once we give people a chance to see it, and have a lot more fun. So, hey, join us again next week. We talk some more fun stuff as well as some more Mandalorian. We try not to bore you with just Mandalorian the whole hour, so we'll cover some other cool stuff. But happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and we'll see you next week.